1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update brought to you by Gate Stores. The Major League Baseball season begins tomorrow with the New York Yankees hosting the San Francisco Giants, followed on opening day on Thursday. The Jumbo Shrimp are also set to get their season underway on Friday at home, taking on the Rochester Red Wings at 7:05. It's 59 degrees at 6 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Too many miles and the too little smiles. I bring you into the night. The late Harry Chapin, one of the great ballads of all time, about one who got away. She said, "How are you, Harry?" I said, "How are you, Sue?" Look it up, kids. Taxi. And one of the greats, no doubt about it. We're not going to let anything get away here, okay? I'll stack pads. I'll play Jerry Cheevers on you if you think you're going to go 5-hole, okay? You want to send that stuff up, I'll put it in the third row, like the Kembe Mutombo. I keep my head on a constant swivel, like a DB. You just don't know what's going on. These parts, other parts, I mean, that's just the life we live. And also, if you make a mistake and you hang a bender, I'm going to send that bad boy into the night. Now, tomorrow night is an incredible evening. It is the start of Major League Baseball 2026. San Francisco, Oracle Park, Logan Webb gets the baseball. It's the ex-Brave, Max Fried. He's going to pitch the wrong armor for the New York Yankees. I mean, once again, it's all about the LA Dodgers. They've won consecutive World Series. What they're doing right now in baseball is absolutely out of this world, okay? And it's also corrupt. The fact that you can sign any one of these players and defer these payments years and years and years and years down the road. And I get it. It's happened for quite some time. We talk about the Bobby Bonilla Day yearly, but that's like $1.5 million or $1.75 million or something like that. I mean, Ohtani's making like a couple $1 million, and he's got like 40 million or 50 million, whatever it is, per year waiting. We're standing pretty close to what could be a major lockout in Major League Baseball. And I just don't think that the fans will come back. The fans who think this game is boring, the fans who have let other sports around them pass them as far as their viewing is concerned. Let's face it, chicks love the long ball, right? The steroid era saved the game of Major League Baseball. The home runs brought fans back. I used to work with a guy by the name of Papa Joe Chevalier. A lot of you longtime sports talk radio listeners remember the name. Cranky, he was a curmudgeon. Everywhere I go, there's trains here in Chicago. Well, if there weren't trains there, Papa Joe, there'd be more and more cars on the road. But you already can't go from point A to point B. You think you got traffic here in Jacksonville? Are you kidding me? He never came back. He never went back. That was back in the era of call after call after call. Let's take calls, right? Someone called on baseball, unless it was Pete Rose being enshrined into the Hall of Fame, he just wouldn't talk about it. I love the game. How can I not love the game? I'm from Boston. You grew up wanting to be Bobby Orr and the Big Bad Bruins, or you grew up wanting to be Yastrzemski, Rice, Fisk, Fred Lynn, Louis Tiant, Dwight Evans, Rick Burleson. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. George Boomer Scott, Cecil Cooper. And I'm worried, but not tonight and not tomorrow night because there's nothing we can do about it. They want to put a salary cap on it. They want to stop the stuff that's going on in L.A. and in Anaheim and in New York and some other places, make it more affordable for Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, teams like that. We'll see. I have no idea what's going to end up happening, but I'll tell you, you should enjoy baseball coming up this year. And you know what else is just so out of this world and could really end up being a big part to save baseball, or if it does go down that ugly road, what will bring back the fans to Major League Baseball is I've never seen anything like this as far as the domination that is going on right now around the bigs when it comes to shortstops. All right, we know that Bobby Witt Jr. is one of the best players right now in the game, a legitimate five-tool baseball player. He's only 25 years of age. Gunnar Henderson, outstanding in Baltimore. L.A. De La Cruz in Cincinnati. You got what? Nato in L.A., Tovar in Colorado. Volpe, even though he's been up a little bit, down a little bit in New York. You look at guys as like rookies. Mason Wynn, C.J. Abrams, Jacob Wilson, what a batting title in Oakland. Jackson Merrill, just absolutely phenomenal in San Diego. And then you look at the top prospects. The number one guy in baseball in Pittsburgh, Connor Griffin. The number one guy in baseball in Detroit, Kevin McGonigal. And he was told today he has made the team. The number one guy in Milwaukee, Jesus Made. Okay. The number one guy in Oakland, Leo DeVries. And that's going to be interesting to see what they do because they already have Jacob Wilson. J.J. Weatherholt in St. Louis. Colt Emerson in Seattle. It just goes on and on. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when A-Rod came up with Nomar and with Jeter and Miguel Tejada and some of the others, and it was like, wow, look what's going on. By the way, I did Florida State's playing tonight against Florida. I remember when Georgia Tech came in, also visited them once in Atlanta, did games with the late Lee Bowen when Nomar Garcia-Parra was about a 150-pound shortstop for Georgia Tech with Jason Varitek behind the plate, Darren Bragg and Jay Payton. I believe they were both on that team in the outfield for the Yellow Jackets. So it's comforting to know that there's a lot of brilliant young stars who could emerge. Now, there's two P words I hate. There's two P words you'll never hear the truth teller say on air or off air. It's been completely eliminated from my vocabulary. Number one, patience. I'll never tell Jaguars fans to be patient. If you want to go down the road with Nick Foles and talk about the trials and tribulations and all that type, fine. I'll never go pee with you when it comes to patience. Number two, potential. You know what potential means? Maybe, but not yet. You're nowhere near it. If you're still being told you've got potential, if you're young, that's okay. You're my age, bro, you're screwed. I've been doing this for 35 years. If someone's to say to me, I think you got some potential, it's like, well, what? And I've been doing this for 35 years. So those are two words that I will never, ever, ever, ever say when it comes to Jaguars fans or, for the most part, in general. But let's just say, this group of shortstops, there's an opportunity for something really special to see here. It's going to be interesting. The Yankees haven't won since 2009. They're feeling the pressure. Do you realize there's not one active player in Major League Baseball who has won a World Series with the New York Yankees? This is the longest break in decades. I actually had the years, and I looked for it prior to the program, and I couldn't dig it up. I'll find it again at some point because I know you're dying to know that. But, you know, you just look at Yankees alumni, Yankee players who have moved on to other organizations, current New York Yankees, no matter what the situation may be. There's not one guy who was a part of that 2009 World Series team. Of course, 2026, we're talking about, 15 years ago. Actually, let's make that 17 years ago. Loaded division. Toronto, again, tons of young talent in Boston and Baltimore, not just shortstops. I'm talking about all around the diamond. The Braves begin the year 3/5 of their rotation down. Man, is that staggering. It was announced yesterday, Spencer Strider on the IL with an oblique. We'll have to monitor that. And, of course, in baseball, they're always going to baby you, if you will. Spencer Schwellenbach has an elbow. He's on the 60-day. Hurston Waldrop has an elbow. He's on the 60-day. You still have Chris Sale. The Braves are a very talented team, and they have an outstanding offense. But, who can recover long-term when you lose 3/5 of your expected starting rotation? So we will see. I am not going to talk a ton of baseball with you during the spring and summer because I understand the audience. You're probably already like, did Blue just eat up 10 minutes of our time talking about Major League Baseball? I did. I absolutely did because I love the game. I also love the game of hockey. I don't waste your time talking about hockey each and every night. I actually rolled into somewhat of a depression a night ago. There was only one hockey game on the Monday night. And with everything that's going on in the great run to the playoffs and how I think this year's Stanley Cup is absolutely wide open, how the schedule makers could only drop one game on a Monday was absolutely shocking to me. You're all about football, and I get it. So we're going to do that heavily tonight. As a matter of fact, Ryan O'Halloran's up in 25 minutes. Tell you what I'm going to do with Ryan. We're going to take a deep dive on what I think are the two biggest really stories on the Jaguars that isn't Travis Hunter and how they're going to use him. I say it all the time. I've said it for a few years. I'm still wondering about the offensive line. And you paid Cole Van Lannon starters money. Is he your shoe-in? No doubt about it. Starter at left tackle game one. Can Walker Little win that position? Or is he better suited at right guard? And what about Anton Harrison? They've got a major decision to make. Obviously, they're going to pick up his 5th year as a first-round team-only option. This guy played left tackle during his entire career at Oklahoma. Does he make a move? All right, so we're going to investigate that. And we're also going to get into the Trayvon Walker situation. The guy's done a lot of things, both at Georgia and here. Not a true pass rusher by trade, but a guy who's a really good football player. Let's just say for the conversation, the Jaguars hang on to Armstead. Gosh, can I put out that Mason Smith actually has a pulse? Am I allowed to say that? And they find another defensive tackle. I believe, that's something they've got to address at number 56. I'm all about Grayson Halton, getting him right out of Oklahoma. There's your second-round pick. There's your Friday night pick, number 56. Let's say they find another edge as well. What I'm getting at here is that they have bodies, they have production, so you could use Trayvon Walker any way that you want. How? What's best case? So we're going to do that with Ryan O'Halloran. Again, that's coming up in just a little bit. Quite a bit of football news today. As a matter of fact, I'm going to come out of this first break talking about football, including the season opener, which is going to be on a Wednesday. It'll be Thursday in Australia. So let's make it comfortable for them, by all means, right? I mean, there's one thing they're begging for in Australia. That is American football. We'll drop the game on a Wednesday night here. Back to us lowly citizens in the States. So, we'll come back, we'll do that. Some of these NFL owners meeting on Friday begun to leak what they're actually going to talk about, how much will be pushed forward, how much will be tabled for yet another year. Also some draft talk and a lot happening with quarterbacks. So we're going to be jam-packed here over the next couple of hours. And I got to tell you, I am absolutely fired up for this program on a Tuesday. Okay, I'm also a man who has perfect vision. Thank you to Shmunez Vision. It goes on year after year after year after year. And you know what? I've had all sorts of problems, when it comes to, let's see, my ears. They're telling me I'm going deaf. I haven't lost a ton of hair in the last 20 years. I lost it all earlier in my life. And I'll be honest, if someone paid me enough money, I'd shave this bad boy and resod it. You want to put a squirrel on my head? Pay me. And I'll do it. I talked yesterday about getting off soda because I can't get off candy. I'm on these meds and no, not happy pills. This stuff that try to keep my cholesterol where it's supposed to be. You know what? I don't have to worry about my eyes. My eyes are perfect. 20/20 eyes. Every time I go, my prescription hasn't even changed. All right. The contacts are out of this world, and I know I can trust the good folks at Shmunez Vision. Now, 9 years ago, I waddled in, and I was like, "What's up, Dr. Neal? How you doing, man? What's going on?" He's like, let me see this. He's like, "You need that removed tomorrow." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm fine. I feel fine." He's like, "That is cancerous, and it's going to spread. You need that removed immediately." Guess what? He did the examination. He talked to me and my GF about the surgery. He performed the surgery, and there's never been an issue. There's never been a setback. How comforting is that? I'll tell you, it's pretty spectacular. Dr. Neal Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, Dr. John Hunt. Check him out online, Shmunez Vision. Also on Instagram, you can grab all of the testimonials. All right, we are jam-packed. It's great to have you with us. It is a Tuesday night in Duval. My name is Rick Ballou, and this is Into the Night.
Sometimes you make bad decisions.
Thompson, what's the charge? Disturbing the peace.
And sometimes you make good decisions.
It says here we should work in teams. Who wants to be my spotter?
1010XL. When you want to make a good decision.
Ballou here for Shmunez Vision. Why Shmunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neal Shmunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Shmunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Shmunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit ShmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Okay, sports fans, Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I and Beaches Dermatology are reminding you all to wear your sunscreen. Spring is here, and that means more time outside. Grabbing the clubs for your tea time? Bring the screen. Heading out on the boat? Bring the screen. Headed to the beach? Definitely bring the sunscreen. All in all, make sure sunscreen is included in your outdoor activities. If you have any concerns now, give Beaches Dermatology a call. I've been seeing them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Call today online at beachesdermatology.com.
If you want more teal in your daily diet, Jaguars Today with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. Exclusive guests, sharp analysis, and non-stop Duval football. Served by Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, JohnAutomotiveJacks.com.
Gold and silver prices are near all-time highs. If you have old jewelry just laying around, Estates Roadshow wants to buy it. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold and silver are hot. The Estates Roadshow is in the First Coast area Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in St. Augustine at World Golf Renaissance. Get cash in your hands for your unused jewelry. More info? Visit estatesroadshow.com or follow Estates Roadshow on Facebook to see all upcoming local events and locations.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911, GarageDoor911.com.
We know exactly what you're not thinking about right now. Wiper blades. But now that you are, take a moment to think about how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America. Why? Because Rain-X thinks about wiper blades all the time. We obsess, so you don't have to. Simply install our blades and then think about literally anything else. So choose Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blades. And then go back to not thinking about wiper blades. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
RJ Saunders here, sports fans, and whether it's get well roses or a be happy situation, I always call the experts at Kuhn Flowers. Sending a floral arrangement is just so easy. Log on to KuhnFlowers.com and leave it to them. Kuhn Flowers is the only name you'll ever need to know.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Tonight's show brought to you by the Alexander Law Practice. Tell you much more about them in just a couple of minutes. Lavonte David has called it a career. All-time leading tackler. He's actually tied with Derek Brooks in Tampa Bay history. 14 years there, 1,714 tackles. Of course, part of a Super Bowl winning team. And this is a dying breed, too. You know, everything we get into, there's change, there's massive change. But you don't find a lot of guys who play 14 years with the same organization as Lavonte David did. And, you know, I understand that it's about, and it works both ways. I mean, if the youth teams think they can get younger and they can get someone for a cheaper price, they're going to move you out. They're going to release you. They're going to waive you. They're going to trade you. Same thing. You should take the, you know, I mentioned it last week. You look at the situation with, you know, Taylor, the former right tackle of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who obviously in 3 years, made really good money in Kansas City. I mean, it was a 4-year, $80 million deal. He was flat out released. Jawaan Taylor can't find work elsewhere. Well, he pocketed $60 million. He also won a Super Bowl. So he certainly did make the right move. But in the case of David, man, this is absolutely out of this world. And, you know, even the great ones. I mean, Peyton Manning moved on. Tom Brady moved on. Aaron Rodgers has moved on. Brett Favre moved on. I guess it was Drew Brees. I guess it was Ben Roethlisberger. I guess it was Eli Manning. Those are three that I can think of. I mean, who is the longest tenured NFL player right now with the same football team? You've got, what's his name? Cam Hayward. No. Who am I thinking of in New Orleans? The pass rusher, future Hall of Famer. Cam Jordan. I want to say he's got 14 years under his belt, maybe 13. And, you know, I opened the program with baseball. Okay, you've got Altuve, you know, you've got Trout. You just don't have a long list of guys. I mean, there are listeners here who, if they didn't see it themselves, certainly heard their dad or granddad talk about Mantle and DiMaggio and Lou Gehrig and Yogi Berra. And, yeah, Derek Jeter did it. And, yeah, Mariano Rivera did it. And, yeah, Jorge Posada did it. And Carl Yastrzemski did it. And Ted Williams did it. And Jim Rice did it. But so few are in between. And, I think that hurts a little bit. It's not hurting college basketball. I know that it appears I'm wrong because I've made a huge point about how I thought the transfer portal would have an effect on the game because you cannot identify with these players. Well, the ratings came out from Thursday and they were record-setting. Okay? And I don't know if it's because the competition is better. I don't know if it's just the game. It's as simple as that. I often have, what am I looking for here? There are times where I don't understand when I hear that, like, Tony Dungy's out. And who did they just say the other day? Laura Rutledge is no longer doing the college football kickoff or whatever it's going to be. And I'm like, if you're a football fan, it doesn't matter who's doing the game. It doesn't matter who does the pregame. It doesn't matter who does the halftime. It doesn't matter who does the postgame. If you're a fan of the game, you're going to watch the game, right? Well, apparently I'm wrong. Apparently there are those who really care about it. Maybe we're just so engrossed with it. If you're a listener to us on 92.5 FM, and it's always appreciated, you get your sports fill all morning, day, into the night, and you don't need the 30 minutes of gab, pregame. You don't need the 12 minutes during halftime. But others do. Others are not like that. They've got things where they're locked down during the day. They've got a job that doesn't allow them to listen. They have family responsibilities or whatever it may be. So just really surprised by that. But anyway, I'm just getting to the point that, with Levante David, man, this is really the end of the road. We don't see guys that have been in the league, for nearly 15 years, in this case, 14 years, the way it has happened here. So what a great career. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he's an incredible football player, only 3 Pro Bowls. We'll see what ends up happening when it's all said and done. All right, Wednesday Night Football. It's leaked. It's going to be the case here back in the States. And we already know that they're also talking about a game to be played this year on Thanksgiving evening, okay, which I love. Because college football blew it too. Remember college football? I mean, it used to set up well for those Thursday games, a Wednesday game, some Black Friday games. It felt to me like in a lot of those years, it was either LSU, Arkansas, or it was certainly the Egg Bowl. The premier games are still, for the most part, going to be played on Saturday. But I don't think there's anyone alive, as far as a consumer, who's going to have a problem with Thanksgiving Eve games outside of maybe just uptight mother-in-laws, right? Wednesday Night Football to open the season, however, is a little bit bizarre to me. That doesn't make any sense. And I know the game is going to be played in Australia, but why not push it back one extra day? And I'm sure the answer sounds a little bit like this because it takes forever to get there and it takes forever to get back. The game will actually be played September 10th in Australia, but it's going to be, a primetime game here back in the States on September 9th. Bottom line, I don't even have to ask you. I already know the answer. The more, the better. Give it to us, right? The more, the better. You get Monday night. You want to give it to us on Wednesday night? You'll take it, right? You got Thursday night. You're going to have Sunday night. Once the college football regular season ends, you get Saturday football. So it's the changing of the guard once again. And, I don't have time to do this right now because I want to bring in Ryan O'Halloran. But I want to go over, if I don't get an opportunity to do it during this show, perhaps tomorrow, some really intriguing situations that are on the table reportedly for these owners' meetings. And, I still don't believe they're putting enough attention to the most important part of all of this that needs to be fixed, CTE, right? Regardless of what Cam Skattebo had to say. And certainly, this 18th game, which is going to happen. There's no question about it. It's going to happen. And again, as a consumer, I love it. Who's not going to love it? You're going to go from 17 to 18 games. You're going to add a second bye. So that means you're going to have 2 more weeks of regular season football in a town like Jacksonville, where it's basically one horse. I mean, this is going to go over unlike anything, right? I mean, I'd be surprised if anyone was opposed to go into 18 games. But we didn't have time to get in those owners' meeting stuff. If we don't do it tonight, we'll get to it tomorrow night. I do want to bring in our buddy Ryan O'Halloran right here on the other side. All right, let me tell you about a really good man. His name is Rick Alexander with the Alexander Law Practice. First off, let me say this. There are great practices all across the state, all across the nation. Here's the difference with Rick Alexander at the Alexander Law Practice, okay? You're dealing straight with Duval's own. A one-on-one relationship. Someone who's been doing this his entire professional life. He has seen it all, okay? If you are alone, if you're up against it, you're scared, you don't know what to do, I've got your answer. Alexander Law Practice. Now, you may be intimidated. You may be flat out scared that you don't want to call because you think you're going to be charged for that call. You think there's going to be a retainer fee. You think there's going to be a consultation fee. Wrong. You'll never come out of pocket. You have absolutely nothing to lose by placing the call, or better yet, just go to Alexander Law Practice and get a hold of them that way. Tell them what's going on. Your car's totaled. Tell them what's going on. You're physically injured. You need physical therapy. You need to see, no matter what it is, okay? Rick Alexander and the fine folks he works with, they are going to put you in the right direction. And at the very end, it's going to be a very prosperous situation for you. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And, that's the way I feel, and that's the way many out there feel when it comes to Rick Alexander and the Alexander Law Practice. You can call him 400-6600. Your best bet, though, just go to Alexander Law Practice. All right, coming up right now. He is an Irishman who I don't believe is still hungover from St. Patrick's Day. Then again, O'Halloran's not even a drinker. He likes his Diet Cokes. I got 2 things that I think are incredibly interesting. Really, the 2 biggest questions outside of Travis Hunter for this Jaguars football team. Can they sit back and do nothing, or could any one of these 2 moves actually take place? We'll investigate on the other side as O'Halloran joins Blue.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Big Number 1 Duval Ford. It's truck time in Jacksonville, and all month long you can drive home a brand new 2025 F-150 with no money down, no payments for 90 days, and 0% interest for 60 months. That's right, a new F-150 with 0 down and 0% for 60 months. See all the deals now at DuvalFord.com, or just stop by Big Number 1 Duval Ford, 1616 Cassett Avenue today. It's truck time at Big Number 1 Duval Ford.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here, and the cooler weather is upon us. Folks, it's the perfect time to try the new breakfast sandwich from Dandy Foods. A hearty one, too. A twin-pack cinnamon swirl and country sausage. You get the sweet first, then the salty kicks in, and trust me, they are addicting. And you'll find them all at daily stores around town. So the next time you're out and about, stop and get all that deliciousness in less than a minute from Dandy. Just one more reason to go out and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
The Golf Club of Southampton is gearing up for brand new greens and a lot more. And now's your chance to save on membership before the fee increase. Take advantage of $1,000 savings if you join before the work starts in late April and before the initiation fee goes up. It's a great deal, plus $500 additionally in Pro Shop credit. Don't miss out. All the details are at golfsouthampton.com. Become a member now and save big. The course is in great shape, so head on out to the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and get on the tee.
We went to probably 4 or 5 jewelry stores.
Jacksonville's Mitch Fandel went to the town center looking for an engagement ring, but found the big box corporate jewelry experience wasn't for him.
Nobody's really helping us. One of the stores, some people walked in behind us and they were offered beer and champagne, and I'm wearing shorts and a cutoff, so I don't really look the part. So I was like, well, I guess we'll go somewhere else. I don't know if they think we can afford to shop here or what.
So he went across and discovered locally owned Beards Diamonds.
When I walked in, everybody just said, hey, welcome in, welcome to Beards.
Mitch loved the service and attention he got at Beards and ended up with a bigger, better quality diamond.
It was about twice the size of what I thought I could afford, and it was also about twice the size of what my wife thought she wanted.
Today, Mitch tells all his friends, shop local, shop Beards.
You're going to get the best deal on the best diamond.
Unbeatable value, unmatched selection, uncompromising personal service.
Anybody that I know, I want them to shop at Beards.
Beards Diamonds, St. John's Town Center.
Get ready for spring turkey season at Green Acres Sporting Goods. Find shotguns trusted in the field from Browning, Beretta, and Benelli. Plus, the newest bows are ready to test shoot from Hoyt and Matthews. For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has helped Northeast Florida hunters gear up with confidence. Stop by Green Acres today at the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard, or shop online anytime at greenacresporting.com.
Alert! Alert! Termite swarms are active right now in Jacksonville, and once they get inside, damage can happen fast. Termites don't knock, they silently attack the structure of your home, leaving behind costly repairs and long-term headaches. Protect what you've worked hard for with the proven protection homeowners trust. Terminix Day, with advanced termite treatment and prevention solutions. Visit Terminix.com and schedule your free termite inspection today.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Hi, Randall Howard's our guest, columnist of the Florida Times-Union. He joins us each and every Tuesday night at 6:36. Ryan, always a lot of fun.
Hey, Rick, good to join you again. And let's just be glad we're not at the baseball stadium keeping score tonight.
I was going to ask, are you there? I know you did the basketball over the weekend, but not a great night for baseball.
No, I was at Florida Spring Football this morning, and so one event for me today.
Yeah, okay. Well, I wish we had more time to cover that, but I got a couple of things here I really want to do that are Jaguars related. Hey, first things first, after the record-breaking deal in Seattle with JSN, I thought for sure that Jake Bobo and the offer sheet would go through here. I was really surprised that Seattle went out and matched it.
Yeah, and it must have been a contract that was constructed to their liking, obviously, but not too much of a they're handcuffed to let them walk. And maybe they should have guaranteed him the whole deal, which is a 2-year deal, which is traditionally what you do with free agents. But Jake took a swing. But what it does, real quick, Rick, on this topic is it reveals what they're looking for, and that's a receiver who can play special teams. They didn't really have that guy last year, and there are a couple guys left in free agency that might be a fit later on. But that's clearly what they're looking for now.
Yeah, Tim Patrick a year ago, Tim Jones still around, but a big-bodied target who can be a 4-core special teams guy. Should be, I don't want to say easy, but, this shouldn't be that big of a deal to try to find a guy via free agency or perhaps a little bit later on in the draft. Let's get the two things that I think are fascinating, and they could be nothing more than a foolish pipe dream, or there could be a little something here. Left tackle. Is that Cole Van Lanen's job, end of conversation? Does Walker Little have a chance to win that job? Or could they possibly take Anton Harrison and move him back to the position he played at Oklahoma?
Well, it's a worthy discussion because it has turned into a subplot for two reasons. One, we don't know the extent of Cole Van Lanen's knee injury he sustained in Week 18 that kept him from playing the Buffalo game. And also, Walker Little still on the roster carrying a very big cap number for what now is a backup player. So talking through the options here, let's start with Anton Harrison. I'm guessing he wouldn't mind a move to left tackle going into a contract year.
No doubt.
That would include, especially if he plays well. That would move Van Lanen over to right tackle, assuming he's healthy for the start of OTAs and camp and whatnot. And, I mean, my guess is they're waiting for a call on Little because they are committed to Patrick McCarty. They've already reworked his deal. But if you are not sure about your tackle depth, you have a very expensive swing guy in Walker Little.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question about it. And, my understanding, I've always been one of those who believes that really trying to understand exactly what the plan is. That's why I've always had an issue with Pro Football Focus when it comes to the offensive line, because how can you really judge if defenses are blitzing, if defenses are stunting, or whatever it may be? But that's why I talked to former offensive linemen. But I was told that Walker Little played much better at right guard than he obviously did at left tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I do my own numbers. I don't really go to Pro Football Focus either because they've never explained their methodology. But his metrics, according to my numbers, were better at guard, and that's a hat tip to him. He got thrown into that Denver game against arguably the best pass rush in pro football and held his own. But then he played okay down the stretch, so maybe they backed into something there. But you also have to have a plan at backup guard because, as we've talked about, Patrick McCarty was unable to finish his last two games this year because of back injury.
Right.
So they got to be wary of that.
Ryan O'Halloran's our guest, columnist with the Florida Times Union. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a huge deal. I really do. And I have to believe that, the three, Baselli, Gladstone, and Cohen, they've had major conversations about this. And, they make a coaching change. They bring in a guy who from Tampa Bay who has a great relationship with Liam Cohen. Last week we talked about how it felt like straight line running in short yardage situations wasn't ideal, and perhaps that'll get better. But boy, if Van Lanen's not 100% and Little's not doing the job, I mean, it just seems like that would be the logical move to send Anton Harrison, the left tackle.
Yeah, and I would think they would have to make that decision pretty early in camp. And if they were shopping Walker Little, we'd know about it. Which means I think they're waiting for the phone to ring, especially on draft weekend, to see, hey, is the team really in dire need of something? They're willing to give up a pick next year for Walker Little. I'll throw Wyatt Milam into this conversation real quick. He's an unproven player, partly because of injury, mostly because of injury. Is his best spot eventually going to be right tackle? Okay, well, where does he work at the start of camp? And, long term, do they feel Van Lanen at left tackle, Milam at right tackle?
Mm-hmm.
Harrison at left tackle, Van Lanen at right tackle. So there's a lot of moving parts right now. And, Liam Cohen gave us a lot of grief late in the season because, you guys panicked when we couldn't figure out our line. Well, we didn't panic. We're just pointing out like it didn't sound like you guys had plan A ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still experimenting late in the camp. I think they want to be able to start August with a little more clarity.
All right. Let's just say that, first off, I've been under the impression for quite some time that Eric Armstead gets the June 1st designation. The fact that they haven't done anything at defensive tackle, and he played well prior to the injury the first 10 games, even though it brings back $14.4 million, why am I under the belief now that they're going to keep him?
Well, I'd still go the other way on this one, Rick. If he was one of the guys that they reworked and restructured his contract, which they have not, then I would say, hey, they're hanging on for another year. If you're looking at it from the Jaguars' point of view, is it doesn't impact your cap either way if you cut him now and label him a post June 1. So my thought has always been you're going to get through the draft, see if you can get a defensive tackle in the second or third round. If you don't, then you can move forward with Armstead for one more year. So I wouldn't say wouldn't say right now definitively that Eric Armstead's going to be back. I would still lean toward him not returning.
All right, good. Let's get to this then. Let's just say that they find enough. They get another edge at number 56. They get another defensive tackle, and they feel real good. I mean, they found Strigo and Green and Dickerson a year ago. They have bodies. They have production. And you have the now opportunity to use Travon Walker where it's best for this football team. What's your overall plan if that was the case personnel-wise?
All right, so a plan A for Travon Walker would be they're able to take advantage of his positional versatility. They're not forced into anything. The last 2 games last year, he played 10 snaps at defensive tackle. 8 of those snaps were on third down. The Bills and Titans went 1 of 8 on third down. He had an impact lining up to Josh Hines-Allen. I would expect that to continue on third down because they may have found something there. As for the early downs, I think it depends on the personnel. If the team comes out 11 personnel, I would put Travon Walker inside. But also play him at the edge because he is a very good run defender on the edge. So they have some options there depending on what they do in the draft. If they think Travon Walker is going to even be 30% of a defensive tackle, well, that moves edge to the top of the list, period.
Yeah.
And so I think their plan has to wait until they see what they do in the draft at both of those spots, because I do think they need to address edge, even if Travon Walker is the starter there full time, because I don't think he's going to be back, and I don't think he deserves a contract extension right now. But if you get a defensive tackle with some pass rush capabilities, which are few and far between, maybe that gives you more flexibility to either keep Walker on the edge on third down or have a very dynamic interior duo.
Yeah, I know you and I talked about the 10 snaps he played next to Hines, Josh Hines-Allen in that playoff game, and it was incredibly effective. As you said, 1 of 8 on third down. I mean, they have to be aware of that. They have to make a move in that instance. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, as I say goodbye to you, Harold Perkins at LSU, man, as a freshman, this kid was absolutely off the chart. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Derek Brooks when he was at Florida State, kind of an undersized linebacker. You kept hearing, is he going to move to safety? He ran a 4.38 just the other day. I know he's coming back from the torn ACL, and that creates a lot of uncertainty. But he's a football player, and again, the science compared to the football, this team loves speed, but I think they also love football players. What's your opinion on Harold Perkins out of LSU?
Those first 2 years, if he was eligible to come out of the draft after his true sophomore year, it might have been number 1 pick. 26 tackles for loss, 13 sacks in those 2 years. Then got hurt. Then maybe played out of position, but he still had 4 sacks last year. But at 222 pounds, do you view him sort of as a joker? Jack of all trades. Can he stand up against the run? Interesting guy in the draft. But you're right about this Jaguar team. They look at traits, but they look at production. And this guy has the ability to be, hey, Anthony Campanile, here's a nice little chess piece. How are you going to use him? So I'm not sure where he's going to be drafted, but he definitely is an intriguing name, and who probably wasn't in the best situation at LSU.
Yeah, one of those third-round picks. I'm certainly defensive tackle and edge are 1, 2, maybe offensive line. Again, you can never have too many, but if Perkins was there in that third round with one of those picks, man, I'd love to see them get him as a off-the-ball linebacker. Ryan O'Halloran, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan, always a lot of fun, man. Take care.
All right, we'll talk to you next week from Phoenix, Rick. Thanks.
There he goes. Oh, good. He's going to be at the owners' meetings. I love it. That's all I'll say, because I'm an owners' meetings geek. I love that stuff. I was just telling you about some of the proposals that I was reading. I don't think it gets enough attention, even with this great football listening audience. Remember last year, I tried like a mother to sell the importance of still wanting to have the 8 divisional winners get home field. And, I tried selling it and I didn't get any response. And then sure enough, they won 13 games and it didn't matter. But under a normal year, if you go 9-8 or you go 10-6 or 10-7, whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden, you have someone who didn't win the division but won 11 games or 12 games, and instead of hosting a game here in Duval. You got to go on the road. Man, to me, that's scary. I don't even know if that'll come up this year. Again, they tabled it a year ago. I'm sure it will. A lot of stuff is going to come out. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a little bit of that as we do move forward. Okay, great opportunity for you. Just talked about two situations. Realistically, what do you think about left tackle? Where are you going? I'd move Anton Harrison over there. I would. You don't know about Walker Little, and I think Cole Van Lannon, who's played them all, has proven that he can be a very solid right tackle. The Trayvon Walker situation is a little bit incomplete because you don't know what they're going to do to fill bodies and the production with it, both inside and at edge. Boy, you heard O'Halloran say he wouldn't give him a contract extension. That's about the only person I've heard say that. So pretty interesting stuff there. You want to comment? 641-1010 on the text line. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, also on YouTube tonight. You can go to 1010XL into the night.
Short track, short stacks.
Oh, Lordy, what a mess.
This Sunday at Martinsville.
Gonna win at Martinsville.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
Scholar athletes prepare themselves to win at life.
1010XL and Southeast Orthopedic Specialists shine the spotlight on the Scholar Athlete of the Week. Wednesdays on The Frangie Show. Checked by
the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234.
The Moon, The Wall, and Beyond celebrate two of the most iconic albums in rock history. Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, a breathtaking show that captures the spirit, sound, and spectacle. Brit Floyd, Saturday, March 28th. See Brit Floyd. Tickets on sale now at floridatheater.com.
If you've been in an auto accident, you can count on the experts at San Jose Collision to return your vehicle to pre-accident conditions. San Jose Collision can also provide a fresh paint job to freshen up your vehicle or completely change its appearance. They can paint and repair all foreign and domestic cars and trucks. When quality and professionalism are important to you, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Picking here. Oh boy, you know I love a good flash sale, and we got one right now from Zero Res. This week only 15% off all cleaning. It's International Cleaning Week, baby. Carpet, air ducts, tile, grout, upholstery, hardwood, area rugs, and more. Be the household hero and book now. Call 287-5727. Flash sale this week only for 15% off all cleaning from Zero Res. Tell Dan sent you. Zero Res, spelled backwards and forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
What Major League Baseball team has never been to a World Series? The answer next.
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The Seattle Mariners, who were founded in 1977, have never been to the World Series.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing the game. Spring and summer registration going on right now. Log on to i9sports.com to see all they've got to offer for kids ages 3 and up. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for spring and summer. Great new locations added like Tofoi Creek High School and Westside Middle. Get your kids in the game with I9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount at i9sports.com.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service,
Instant Keys comes to you. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, good stuff there from Ryan O'Halloran. It makes you think a little bit about getting better, right? And, you know, everything Jacksonville did, how much better of a club they did become, in really every sense of the word. There still is room for improvement in a lot of areas. And one of those for me is being able to establish consistency with your rushing offense, right? And, you know, you run more with your guards and your center. I'm not saying you do not run with your tackles, but obviously you think more of the tackles to do multiple things for you, including if you're forced to be one-on-one in a pass protection situation. And Jacksonville's really, they are benefited by a good stable of backs when it comes to pass protect, especially the rookies who will be heading into their second year with Tootin and Allen Jr. But, you know, I love the idea. I just think you could lock him up. I mean, he's been average. He's been maybe a tiny bit above average at right tackle. Certainly good enough to pick up that fifth-year team-only option that is only available for first-round draft picks and keep him there, right? But what if he's better at left tackle? And what if you could lock him up? And, boy, I mean, nowadays it's tough to lock anyone up for a long, considerable amount of time. But I think that could really be the case. And, you know, listen, I love Cole Van Lanner. I felt like I was on that train real early when he was the jumbo tackle, the third tackle in a lot of those situations. And, of course, his ability last year to basically do everything. That man filled in at left tackle, both during a game and as a starter. Same with the other three offensive line positions. Left guard, right tackle. He can do it all. What are you going to get for Walker Little? It's going to create some dead money. Is he better off just moved, or is he a guy that can battle for that right tackle position? I mean, they gave money in that restructuring to say to Patrick Mekari, all right, here's a vote of confidence. You're the right guard. Even though he did not perform well one season ago. Remember, Mekari's is this brass's signing. Walker Little was a former regime draft pick and a second contract. And that comes into play. Obviously, he's going to play the best guys there are, but that does come into play. All right, 1-0 Gators. We go to the bottom of the third. Of course, they're playing down the road in Jacksonville tonight. Florida State and Florida. We'll keep you updated on that game. And I want to begin with the owners' meetings here on the other side. I love these meetings. And I'm not sure why I do, because I get so aggravated by it, including this here with the officials. I'm going to start the second hour with this. Can you imagine if they can't get a deal done with NFL referees? You're going to bring in replacement, the billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. I mean, you just paid JSN $42 million a year to be a wide receiver. and you can't find a way to come to terms with officials to try to make, and as bad as they are, they're certainly better than who would replace them. So let's begin our second hour getting into that. We got much more to do as well right here on Into the Night.
It begins with a dream and a plan, and ends with those two magical words.
Touchdown, Jacksonville!
1010XL.
Indoor golf in Ponte Vedra is here. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Play the best courses in the world at Back Nine Golf. Top simulators, analytics to improve your game, or just have a blast with friends or a client. Get this, you can bring your own beverages, including cocktails. Go to back9golf.com, book a tee time today. Membership opportunities, lessons, Back Nine Golf in Ponte Vedra, next to Nice High School. Back Nine Golf, where golf never sleeps.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to floridahomeac.com/careers to find out more.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Sullivan from Cycles of Jacks. If you're looking for bikes that are designed with precision engineering and innovative features to ensure every ride is a memorable one, then you need to check out what Honda has right now, Ready to Ride. From touring bikes designed for long-distance comfort to compact models perfect for city commutes, each motorcycle promises an exceptional riding experience. See us on Instagram and Facebook at Cycles of Jacks. It's all in our showroom, so come check us out.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
The Clay County Fair is celebrating 40 years of rides, music, food, and family fun. April 2nd through the 12th. It's your main man, E.T., and I want to see you there with 1010XL. Get the details at claycountyfair.org. The Clay County Fair, 40 years of fun.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater Irrigation
and Drainage too.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's a great time to be in Duval, Florida State, Florida baseball. 1-0 Gators. Tomorrow night, the start of the regular season in Major League Baseball. And Thursday, we get back to the NCAA tournament. 4 on Thursday, 4 on Friday. The Gators doing everything that they can. Scott Strickland talking about that today to try to get a deal done for Todd Golden, who right now is the 7th highest paid coach in college basketball. He has 5 years left, a $16 million buyout. That drops to $11 million on April 16th. I saw a couple of apparently erroneous reports today that UNC had fired Hubert Davis. I'm tired of all this fake stuff on my phone. I mean, it used to be one thing, where like a 21-year-old girl would follow you on Facebook and say, hey, what are you doing? I saw your picture. You look great. Okay, I fall for that type of stuff, but I don't need to be falling for, we talked about just how awful it was with Mean Joe Green, that someone announced his death last week. And now all of this type of stuff. But nonetheless, that job could open. Kansas, there's some talk, too. The highest paid coach in college basketball is Bill Self. Kansas played no D on that layup by St. John's. We'll see what ends up happening here with Todd Golden. I mean, the odds are right now he is the favorite, odds-on wise, to be the new head coach at UNC. Also, we have a change as far as the odds to win the NCAA tournament. It is now Michigan at 3-1. Remember, it was Duke at 3-1 before the tournament actually did get underway. Did you I just had it here and I lost it. Did you see the story about the amputee cornhole player who's now being charged with homicide? Yes, that is true. That is a true story. Let me find it here.
So what happened?
He's a quadruple amputee cornhole player who was allegedly fatally shot someone in a vehicle. Okay. 27 years of age. And when you see the picture of this guy and you watch him playing cornhole, which I never really got into the cornhole vibe. Are you a cornhole guy?
No,
neither am I. It takes up way too much space during tailgates and parking lots.
People love doing it like at barbecues and tailgates and parties.
Well,
and
that's
stuff
fine, sure.
While they're drinking a couple brewskis, but
Dayton James Weber in Virginia. And when you see the picture of him, it's, again, he's an amputee and several parts of his body removed. I find it amazing that he'd be able to do something along these lines. We'll let the legalities play itself out, but certainly this has been a story that is certainly kind of taken the sports world by storm. All right, let's get to this real quick because this is a real serious. Not to say that's not serious. Obviously it is. Okay, there's a chance that the NFL referees could be locked out. They make $200,000 a year. Some make $250,000 a year. They're not full-time employees. Most of them maintain other careers, man. They're lawyers, they're bankers, they're business owners, they're whatever. This conversation has come up for decades. Make the NFL officials full-time. The NFL's players union, the NFL's owners says we're not going to make them full-time because we allow them to do their regular job. And again, the NFL officiating only really takes up about 25 to 30 hours a week. And obviously with those numbers, you're putting into it travel and everything else. Now, a lot of these guys get benefits, which nowadays is just out of this world. I don't have to tell you how expensive insurance is right now. But what they're saying is that there's no need for these officials to be full-time because during the dark period, which is the entire offseason, even though the NFL is brilliant and they're always dropping something in our lap about what is going on with the game, there's really no need for officials. That's what they're saying. And, to some certainty, I guess I get that. I guess I understand it. However, they have already formed a plan and put together a situation where if they cannot come to an agreement and things get locked out, they're considering really big-time proposals if the referees strike, if there is a work stoppage. And apparently this is what they're going to do. All right, the CBA is set to expire on May 31st. They've already put together mostly small college officiating supervisors to develop a list of reportedly 150 replacement candidates that are coming from mostly smaller collegiate conferences. So it's one thing to be calling upon replacement officials. At least the NFL's smart enough, and at least college football for once in their life has somewhat of a backbone where I haven't even seen the conversation come up that you could go snatch the best college football officials in the game and make them NFL refs. Hey, for the record, I have no idea how these contracts read. I don't know if it's a yearly basis, and I'm talking college now. I don't know if it's a 2-3 year process. I got to imagine that everything is under supervision, right? Everything is looked at, graded. They have that situation, and certain officials get rewarded with bowls. At least they used to. Officials get in the NFL rewarded with playoffs and the Super Bowl. You don't put anyone out there. You put the highest rated referees in that situation. So they're not going there, which is good. But you're talking about Division II, Division III, places where, not to say they're not good officials, but certainly the magnitude of the game that they are involved in is nothing like the bright lights of the NFL. I mean, think about that for a moment. Regardless of what it is that you do, imagine being a high school play-by-play broadcaster, and then all of a sudden you're told that Jim Nance can't do the game today. You're going to be the broadcaster on CBS, okay? I mean, let's give that some thought. It's the same thing here with the officials. You got guys where they're not even filming the game, or if so, it's 1 or 2 cameras. There's probably less than 1,000 people in the audience. And now you're going to stick them into the multi-billion-dollar operation that is the NFL, where NFL fans complain enough about the regular officials that they don't do a good enough job. Aaron, what the hell are you going to expect about these guys coming in who are not qualified to be in this position?
I think the NFL should get the refs whatever the discrepancy is, whatever it is that they can't come to agreements with, they need to get that straightened out. And again, I this is coming from someone that
you do officiating.
I don't I've officiated everywhere from youth to semi-pro football. I mean, so it's not anything too major, but where people say that they like to give a lot of flack to the referees and things like that, I have a little bit of a soft spot for them because it's difficult. It's not easy.
Yep.
And a lot of these people that are complaining about them, they have no idea what it's like to be a football official, let alone an NFL official and the bright lights, like you said. So I think the NFL needs to get this taken care of, because the last thing we want is for 2011, I think it was, to happen all over again, and we have another Green Bay Seattle situation. That's what people don't want.
No, and it reminds me of the old Bowl Championship Series, that they would live off the next year the mistake that was made in the prior year. They would constantly tweak, and they would say, we're not going to allow this to happen consecutively, so we're going to go back and we're going to fix it. Do you understand that in sports, the only thing that is protected is the officiating? The NFL owners, they tried to protect themselves by the NFLPA's report card. That took all of about 15 minutes for the entire situation. All of the results more than 2,000 people had access to it. You knew you weren't going to be able to keep it under wraps. That's why I'm surprised that you have multi-billion-dollar owners who were not smart enough, who did not have enough common sense, or at least have people who work with them who should have said or did say, don't even bother going through this. It's going to leak. It's going to leak. And it did. But you cannot criticize officials publicly. The media can't go to the officials after the game. Sometimes they send one pool reporter who asks the questions for everyone, for the fans, for the coaches, for the players, and for the other members of the media. I'll never forget when I was the Jaguars sideline reporter, Nick Foles threw that touchdown pass. I think it was to DJ Chark. And I want to say it was Frank Clark who hit him. And they had just implemented that rule about putting your entire body weight on the quarterback. And they were trying to eliminate injury by throwing a flag in a 15-yard personal foul if you put all of your body weight on the quarterback. Well, I'm standing right there as the Jaguars sideline reporter. In my opinion, all of his weight went on Nick Foles. So it's halftime. And I grab the official running in the tunnel, and I say, "Excuse me, Mr. Official, why wasn't that a personal foul?" And he says, I said, "The play in which Nick Foles was injured. He had his entire body weight on him." He goes, "No, he didn't." And he runs off. Well, Monday morning, I get a call from the Jaguars public relations, and I'm politely reprimanded. You're not allowed to go and ask an official anything. I mean, I can ask any player, any coach, anything. I've been doing this for 35 years. You cannot ask a question to a referee. And despite all of that, you can't bring in replacements. You've got to find a way. You're talking about $200,000, $250,000 a year. Up it somewhat and allow them to continue their other jobs, or say, okay, we'll double it, but you're no longer allowed to have a career. And I think while they're at it, they need to start to do things where physically you need to be, and I don't want to all of a sudden bring in age and act like I'm discriminating against, because I'm not. But I think that when you're on the field, you should physically be able to not stay with these players, or the best athletes in the world. But you understand what I'm saying. And then once you reach a situation where you can no longer do that, there's another opportunity with you. For the full-time officials up in the box, the eye in the sky. And that's what, let's take a break here because I'm running a little bit deep on this, but I'm really passionate about NFL owners and their rules and the officiating here. Okay, they're going to have, I'm reading some of these proposals, and they're so nitpicky. Again, why can't we just use common sense? Every tournament basketball game, it doesn't matter what happens in the first 38 and a half minutes. You and I know, regardless of the set of circumstances, there's going to be a minimum of one, maybe two reviewable situations that come down to crunch time in those waning seconds where, again, you can do whatever you want in the first 20 minutes. You can do whatever you want to within inside probably the last 90 seconds of the game. And then all of a sudden, everything stops on a dime and, oh, now we're serious. Now we'll review. That's wrong. They do that wrong. Okay? The NFL as well. Much to fix. And again, if you want to jump in on it, you can. I know this is not for everyone. I understand it. It comes up once a year during these meetings. And again, I think the officiating is just massive. So if you want to comment on that, absolutely. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also, you can join us on YouTube at 1010XL Into the Night.
I was overwhelmed by the power of this place, but I made a mistake too. I didn't have enough respect for that power, and it's out now.
1010XL.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Bari here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Bari Orthopedics today or visit bariorthopedics.com.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
As soon as possible.
at 641-1010.
What if the next roof you put on your home was the last one? Not another replacement in 15 or 20 years, the last roof. Metlock Roofing is Florida's only manufacturer and installer of this exclusive roofing system. Engineered for strength, built for Florida weather, backed by a lifetime warranty. Imagine never needing another roof. Call 938-9933 or visit metlokroofing.com. Get your last roof today with Metlock. License number CCC 1335581.
What if every day felt like a private resort in your backyard? Premier Outdoor Inc., Jacksonville's #1 pool builder in the 2025 Best of Bold City Awards, creates entire outdoor living spaces, not just pools, custom pools, heated spas, summer kitchens, cabanas, fireplaces, screen enclosures, and more. Veteran and first responder owned, turn your backyard into an unforgettable retreat. See what you could build at premieroutdoorinc.net. Premier Outdoor Inc., a visionary of hardscapes and aquatics.
Bueller,
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal.
Stand back, Jason. I'm gonna
Sneeze? Yeah, I saw that coming.
It's all this spring pollen, Jason. It's outside and it's inside my house, and I just can't stop. I can't stop.
Sneezing? Okay, let me help you with that.
How can you help?
At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can improve your indoor air quality with air purifiers, UV lights, and filtration systems. Every new system we install includes high-efficiency 4-inch filters that work better and last longer, even if you forget to change them.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Life can get pretty dusty sometimes. If you spend all day, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It's a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash in as little as 1 day with a rate that's at a 3-year loan. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out all their credit cards, started a home improvement project, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much cash you can get. No hard credit pull up front. Imagine, this time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Loan Pronto, A-rated by the BBB, with nearly 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Fifth inning, downtown Gators up 1-0 over the Seminoles. Quick game. Not a lot of offense. We will keep you updated. The game is also on our other station, 1010 on the AM. You know, it takes a man. You be a woman. I'm a man. To promote something else that is going on directly opposite of you. And I just did it with Seminole Gator baseball.
Well done. Well done.
And the fact that we're talking about officiating in the NFL owners' meetings, that was probably the time in order for me to do it. But to me, this is huge. By the way, here's another one here. 4704. I love these. Baloo. I don't care how hurt, healthy, or available in the draft Caleb Banks is. This franchise is too snake bitten on Gator defenders.
What does that mean?
Means they've had bad luck over the years drafting Florida defensive players. But to me, that is totally irrelevant. Everyone is different, okay? And it didn't work with Reggie Nelson. It didn't work with Derek Harvey. It didn't work with Taven Bryan. It didn't work with Dante. I get it. You know, work with Mike Peterson and work with Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor's offense, I mean, best ever. I mean, Pearson on the offense. I get it. But every player is a different human being, a different mental makeup, a different physical specimen. Just look at how different the Gladstone regime is compared to the Gene Smith regime, compared to the Dave Caldwell regime, compared to the Trent Baalke regime. Okay? I mean, I remember Tom Coughlin, you know, Taven Bryan, I don't want you spitting those sunflower seeds on my field. No, it was all good. But if you bring in a guy, if you look at the characteristics that this franchise is so about, including the love of the game of football, okay? Talked about with Ryan O'Halloran again when I mentioned Harold Perkins out of LSU. This team really looked at speed a year ago. But remember the science that was involved with Trent Baalke when it came to arm length. Trayvon Walker was selected over Aiden Hutchinson because of the science, because of the measurements. There's no way that you can put on the film. There's no way that you can put on the Georgia film and you put on the Michigan film and look at Shad Khan and say, Trayvon Walker had a better career in college than Aiden Hutchinson. Hell no. Instead, he trusted his instincts on look at his arm length, look at his body, look at his 40 time, look what he did here, look what he did there. And you were basing it on what you thought he would be able to do at the next level. Okay. They have hit rock bottom with former Florida Gator defensive players. That shouldn't prevent you, though, from going after Banks if you believe he is the right man for the job. It's an interesting question, but it's one that I do not agree with. What did I do with this? It was something else that I found that I thought was important. Okay, finally some good news here. If there is a work stoppage, okay, and you hire these replacement officials that are for the most part going to come from lower tier college football conferences, at least during this work stoppage proposal, what the NFL is going to do is be in constant communication with those who are in New York who will have the ability to weigh in on a variety of different things, including called penalties, and how about this? Uncalled penalties. How many times have they missed we always talk about why was that pass interference called, or, why was that holding called? How about missed penalties? That's something they're talking about as well with the regular officials, and I think it's going to be a big part of the conversation beginning Friday in Arizona. I mean, it's going to delay the game. It's going to slow things down, but I've never really heard people complain about the length of the game in football. As long as you get it right, I think most will accept it. But that's one part of this that I do see and I do like, that the NFL will allow that, or the NFL is going to bring that towards them as far as, getting information straight from New York. 87-67 below. I hope there's a major lockout in baseball. I'm a huge fan, have been for over 50 years. There needs to be a hard cap and a basement. Void all those deferred contracts or pull them forward. Well, there's another part of all of this. I mean, I don't know what the Los Angeles Dodgers are worth. My guess would be, I don't know, $5, $6, $7 billion. That's just a guess. You're gonna owe all these guys. I mean, if you add it up, you're gonna owe them $1.5 billion combined, or almost $2 billion combined. If you look at all of these deferred payments, and I have no idea in this part of life, right? But all of a sudden, something that's worth $7 billion, is it only worth $5 billion? Because you're going to owe $2 billion in deferred payment. I'm just throwing out these numbers. I don't know what the numbers are. But you just look at LA's roster, man. It's filled. It's one after another. LA has really done this, and it's worked for them. They won back-to-back World Series. And frankly, it doesn't get talked about hardly at all. And I understand this is a non-baseball city, professionally speaking, as far as the bigs are concerned. But even nationally, it seems to be not a buried story, but one that just doesn't get discussed enough. Can you imagine if all of this was happening in football? And in a way, you do it with a signing bonus and you create the dead money. And it's something that is an active conversation that we have about each and every single player. As soon as we get to the player, it's immediately the money, the cap hit. How much do you recoup if you say goodbye to them? How much are you going to have to eat as far as the debit? It's there. It's a plan under a salary cap that works for everyone. The reason for it, okay, was what? No team should be too good for too long. No team should be that bad for that long. That's why they put it in there. And, there used to be forever. I think it's been 19 out of the last 21 seasons now that the team or a team who finished last in their division would end up finishing first in their division a year later. I mean, think about that for a moment. All right, let's head to this break. But if I was to say that, that would mean either the Jets, the Browns, the Titans, or the Raiders would go from last place in their division to first place in their division next year. I don't see that happening to any one of those four teams in the AFC. I don't know about you, Aaron. NFC East, the Giants. Detroit, okay. Detroit and Minnesota were tied. It's a very difficult division. You don't know what's going on officially at quarterback in Minnesota. I can absolutely see that with Detroit. Kind of got away from them last year defensively. Gave up too many points. New Orleans in the South, I wouldn't bet on it. Arizona, hell no, in the West. But that's why they have the salary cap. One of the major reasons why they do. All right, much more to get into. Gators up 1-0 over the Seminoles. I'll give you another update on the other side as well as we roll until 8 o'clock.
Now, 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff. Mornings.
All right.
On 1010XL.
All right, he's had enough.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. Went smooth as silk, was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Our son Eric's a Division I collegiate baseball pitcher who is having shoulder pain. We took him to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and are confident that he's now on the road to recovery. This is Beth Anderson, and we love the care Eric receives at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
I'm with Craig from Cycles in Jacksonville, and Triumph is a known name when it comes to beautiful rides on the road. What is the latest from Triumph?
Well, if you didn't come, we had an unleashing at the dealership last week. We saw 6 new models from Triumph. Anything from 400 cc's to 1200 cc's. If you're looking at a bike, you got to look at the new Triumph. I think for everybody in the Triumph lineup, great motorcycles.
Showroom waiting for you. Triumph. Find them at Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
Leon Serza here, your lemon pepper guy. You know Wingstop always delivers, and I'm not talking about their cook-to-order, hand-sauced and tossed chicken sandwich in your choice of 12 mouth-watering flavors. I'm not talking about the house-made ranch, so good nobody will blame you if you double dip. I'm talking about Wingstop that delivers straight to your door, and did you know they're open until 1 a.m.? So visit wingstop.com or use the app to get flavors delivered right to your door late night only at Wingstop.
Can't stop. Wingstop.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E, Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
La playa is Spanish for the beach. If you can't remember that, the word Corona also works. Corona, La Playa awaits.
The price of gold is soaring and the price of silver is near record highs. If you got gold or silver just laying around, Estates Roadshow wants it. Broken chains, old rings, coins, watches, diamonds, vintage jewelry. If it's valuable, they're buying it. No appointment needed, just walk in. Get a free appraisal and walk out with cash. They're also buying pre-1964 silver coins, flatware, sterling silverware stamped 925. They're buying coin collections, gold, silver, foreign, and domestic. Plus, they've been in business over 35 years with thousands of happy customers. Licensed, bonded, state-certified scales, highest tech equipment, employees with GIA certification. The Estates Roadshow is happening in St. Augustine at World Golf Renaissance, Sunday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more info, call Marshall at 609-781-6559 or go to estatesroadshow.com and follow Estates Roadshow on Facebook to see all upcoming events.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater irrigation
and drainage too.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. If you have a school, team, or group that would benefit from a team store, you're in luck because we now offer team stores. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
I'm going to go back a year ago tomorrow. An attempt to hit for the cycle, and dadgummit, it happened right here in Jacksonville. Alex Lodice, the walk-off grand slam. So the big-time belt to knock off Florida happened a year ago. And again, he's a local product and hit for the cycle. That was one season ago. Pretty cool stuff, if you do ask me. So right now, 1-0 Florida. Let's see, bottom of the 5th inning. Florida State. 2 hits, 2 errors. Florida, a run, 3 hits, and an error. There you go. I'd also like to call out the Flies tie. I spent a week there one evening, and there's not a lot of great Irish bars in Jacksonville. It's really the only thing you'll ever hear me complain about, non-sports related. And they've shut it down after decades. They've called it a career. Not a lot of mom and pop places in town. That's one of the reasons why I absolutely adore the good folks at the Blue Crab Crab House. $2 margaritas tonight, by the way, till 9. Tomorrow night, $1 oysters. Just not a ton of mom and dad places here, restaurant-wise. And Flies Tie, I don't think I ever went there to eat. I don't even know if they serve food. I usually went there during those times of, just kind of bar hopping in those parts. But I know a lot of people are upset about that. So wanted to mention them as well. All right. I hope we can get into this tomorrow. Dan Orlovsky now saying that he has spoken with 12 to 15 general managers where Ty Simpson is going to be the better quarterback as opposed to Fernando Mendoza. It always amazes me how we get closer to the draft and so much changes with quarterbacks. Now, there's not a long list of guys this year. There's really not. Okay? And no matter what happens here with Simpson, most are going to consider it a reach, especially if it was Arizona at 3. And I don't think that is going to be the case. I think the highest that he could go would be 16 to the Jets. Okay? My guess right now would be 21st overall, going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Dan Orlovsky, and again, take it for what it is. I kind of like Dan because he's not afraid to take some chances here and there. This isn't 2 or 3 general managers. We're talking about nearly half of the GMs in the NFL. 12 to 15 have said they think it is, in fact, Ty Simpson. Now, a lot of times you can get information like this that is planted by an agent, that's planted by a team for one way or another to maybe try to force a trade, to try to maybe make someone ahead of you a little bit nervous. But, you know, that usually is just a couple of guys. And this is a member of the media here that is saying this in the case that he has spoken with 12 to 15 general managers. So anyway, I do find that interesting. Joe Flacco's going to return for another year. He's 41. Really not surprised. With Joe Burrow, you just don't know. He's got himself a supermodel now. And I think who's to tell anyone what they're allowed to do in their personal life, right? But I see some people already writing this and writing that. How much does would Joe Burrow be welcomed here? Is Joe Burrow a guy who loves football? You kind of listen to him, and it's almost as if it's just a gig for the guy.
I think Joe Burrow is just tired of getting hurt, and the Bengals need to help him out with that.
Yeah. We saw yesterday Joshua Dobbs cut by New England. They went with DeVito, who had been with Tommy DeVito. Speaking of agents, isn't he the guy who came in and played well and he was supposed to get like $5,000 from like a sub shop in New York? And then after he did some good things he said, no, we need $10,000. They're strong arming a sub owner in downtown New York. That was pretty good in my particular opinion. Yeah, and we just talked about it off air. I've only got a couple of minutes left during the show, so I'm not going to get deeply into it. And I also wonder, when you look at what Cam Scatterbush said, right? And he went on a podcast and he said CTE is fake, asthma is fake. It's one of two things. It's either a bit and he was having fun with it, and apparently his mother defended him on social media saying that was exactly the case, or this kid's already got CTE, because for him not to understand how this has destroyed hundreds of football lives, maybe even thousands of football lives. One thing the NFL has really been reprimanded for, has really been criticized for, is not taking care of their own after the game, when they're out. I mean, you talk about a divorce, and, Jacksonville does a nice job with the alumni here and what have you. I'm going back years ago. I'm talking about the days of Mike Webster, one of maybe the greatest center of all time. One of them, certainly, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, left for nothing. And, you really dive into CTE. Boston University has done a very lengthy research on this. And after former players passed, They looked inside the brain of 376 different players. 345 had at least some, some signs of CTE. That's 91.7%. You ever seen Aaron Hernandez's brain? You ever seen a picture of it?
They talked about it. I never actually saw it.
You pull up a regular brain, and then you pull up the brain of Aaron Hernandez, and it almost looks like a shark tooth that you would find on the beach went through his brain and left that open, if that makes any sense. I mean, Google it and look at it. You'll be absolutely blown away to see, and I'm not throwing this out there and saying that this excuses Aaron Hernandez for what he did or anything like that, but he had CTE. Now, he had problems his whole life. He had problems pre-CTE. But you look at dementia. You look at suicide. Every year we hear about guys who have committed suicide that were great players in the NFL or longstanding players in the NFL who, for one reason or another, just can't get straight. Massive depression. So, yeah, again, everyone deserves a second opportunity. And, he's apologized. So we'll give him that. But, boy, this was a bad story. Really. I mean, he's taking a lot of crap for it. Did you get an opportunity to look at it?
Looking at it now, this is I don't know if it's true or not, said that Aaron Hernandez had the worst case of CTE ever documented. I don't know if it's true, but it's TikTok, so you can take that with a grain of salt. But.
Yeah. Yeah. That Aaron Hernandez story is a really, really interesting one. And I read both books on him. One was by James Patterson, and the other was by his lawyer, Baez, the same lawyer who defended Casey Anthony. And let me tell you, you read those two books on what was a true story, it would be like watching Fox and then watching CNN. You're going to get two totally different stories there. The James Patterson story really dove into everything, including why he did hang himself, where the Baez book was the exact opposite. And that's what you get, right? So you don't know who to believe or what to believe. But anyway, enough of that. I don't want to end on a downer. It is serious. It needs to be taken seriously. And again, that's all the owners need to know when they tell you we need an 18th game. Okay, an 18th game is great for all of us. It is. But find a way to protect these guys. 91.7% of these former players. And this is a big number. 376. We're not talking about they, looked at 10 brains. They looked at 376 of them. And it still came out to 91.7%. So it is obvious that if you play this game long enough, you're going to have some form of CTE. And what that brings after can be the just god-awful worst. So really pathetic comments here by Scattaboo. But again, he's saying he didn't mean anything by it, and he has apologized. So I'll let you form your own opinion on that. All right, 1-0 Florida over Florida State. Let's see, where are we at? Are we still in the 5th inning? We are. Inning number 5, Florida up 1-0 over Florida State. We'll give you an update on the other side.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
At G&H Tires and Service, the G stands for great pricing. The H, well, that means honest service. For over 20 years, Roger and his team have helped Jacksonville drivers stay safe on the road. Need brakes? Oil change? AC not blowing cold? Well, how about a super affordable $36 oil change? Affordable brake jobs, AC checks before summer hits, alignments for all these construction roads, and even free check engine light inspections. Locally owned, community driven. G&H Tires and Service on Beach Boulevard.
Like many football fans in Jacksonville, I love defense. I am attorney Lee Lockett, and I'm here to tell you that defense in the courtroom is important as well. That's because penalties for DUI are much more serious than penalties on the gridiron. If you or someone you know is facing a DUI, call us for a free case analysis now. Know before you blow 858-9818. Put my more than 20 years of experience to work for you. Office is Jacksonville, serving all surrounding counties. Call 858-9818 or go to knowbeforeyoublow.com.
It's Mike Dempsey. If you're thinking about a bathroom upgrade, maybe turning that old tub into a safer walk-in shower, check out 5 Star Bath Solutions. I shopped around, talked to several companies, and I chose 5 Star because their customer service was simply incredible. Responsive, honest, upfront about the entire project, and their pricing was even better than expected. When you're ready for a fresh look, better comfort, and a bathroom space you'll love using every day, schedule your free consultation at 5starbathsolutions.com and get the 5-star experience.
Okay, sports fans, Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I and Beaches Dermatology are reminding you all to wear your sunscreen. Spring is here, and that means more time outside. Grabbing the clubs for your tea time? Bring the screen. Heading out on the boat? Bring the screen. Headed to the beach? Definitely bring the sunscreen. All in all, make sure sunscreen is included in your outdoor activities. If you have any concerns now, give Beaches Dermatology a call. I've been seeing them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Call today online at beachesdermatology.com.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, Checkmate's mascot and brand ambassador.
Why do you even talk in these ads?
People see me on the trucks, Brendan, so they expect to hear from me as well.
But I have over a decade's experience personally installing high-quality polymer floors right here in Jacksonville.
Well, I'm a professional mascot, riding around on the side of your trucks, smiling at passers-by.
Then could you at least tell people about our 2-stage polymer application process? Give your garage the finishing touch with a gorgeous floor that's guaranteed to last?
A bit busy posing for selfies, I'm afraid.
Years of experience?
Check. Adorable mascot?
Check. The team you need to make your garage gorgeous? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Get ready for spring turkey season at Green Acres Sporting Goods. Find shotguns trusted in the field from Browning, Beretta, and Benelli. Plus, the newest bows are ready to test shoot from Hoyt and Matthews. For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has helped Northeast Florida hunters gear up with confidence. Stop by Green Acres today at the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard or shop online anytime at greenacresporting.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
That's a cool night. We got a fast-moving baseball game downtown Florida, up 1-0 over Florida State. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. The line score looks like this. Florida State, 0 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors. Florida, a run, 3 hits, 1 error. They're going to play that game in like 2 hours tonight.
It's going to be a quick game. It's a pitcher's duel. I think I've told you this story in the past, but boy, I used to be big among the group, the Animals, at Dick Hauser Stadium. But are they still there? Do they still do that?
Absolutely.
Man, like 30 years ago, like literally 30 years ago, I'm getting old. I was there just with some friends and went to a couple of games. Those Animals are interesting people. I enjoyed myself there.
Good guys. Sing "Oh Canada" and all that type of stuff.
Is the circus tent still out there where they would point to the circus when another team made an error? They got all kinds of chants.
I haven't been to a Knowles game in a little bit. I got my daughter coming in this weekend. It's her birthday, and she's going to visit her mom while she's in town, and we're going to get her as well. But I was thinking about, heading over. I wasn't going to go during basketball because I just wasn't going to go. But it used to be cool. It'd be Florida State, Miami during the spring football weekend. You always had that baseball rivalry going on. And frankly, it was a great time for FSU fans who make it back there 2, 3, 4, 6 times a year during the fall to go there during, the early parts of April. But they scratched that too.
I'll tell you the exact team. You might have been over there. It was like Doug Minkiewicz, Paul Wilson, J.D. Drew was on that team. They had a guy named Niles, I think Jack Niles.
Jack Niles,
and they
third
would spell out Niles, Niles. Yeah, I was into it back in the day.
Well, I was lucky enough to do road games with the late Lee Bowen. I remember going to Clemson where they had Chris Benson, Billy Koch. Trying to remember the third starter. And, I went to Georgia Tech. I went to Miami. I went to Florida. I only went to those major games because I would have to travel by car. But that was a great time. It really was. So we'll see. Of course, last year, Lodi hit that big home run to actually get the cycle. But right now it looks like that was an 8-4 final. This looks like one run could be enough.
Well, Florida coming off getting swept by Alabama, so they need some good karma. They look good. I mean, they swept South Carolina. They go out to Tuscaloosa, and they got no hit in one of those games, so they desperately need a win tonight.
All right, what do you got going on tonight?
Yeah, so we're going to keep you updated on Florida State baseball downtown here in Jacksonville. We're also going to talk a little bit football, obviously. We're inside of a month till the NFL draft. Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated is going to join me to not only talk Jaguars, but the rest of the AFC South. And then Neil Blackman of Saturday Down South and the Florida Basketball Hour will put a cap on the Gator basketball season and what the future looks like.
I know we're out of time. Any risk of losing, Todd Golden?
I don't think so. I think I said this last night, and I firmly believe it. The next job Todd Golden has is not in Gainesville, will be in the NBA. I think he's going to go the Billy Donovan route, but I think it's going to be a few years. I would be very surprised if he took another job in college.
Yeah, I was reading earlier today where Scott Strickland saying they're going to give him another raise. They're going to do everything to keep him there. There's a $16 million buyout that changes to $11 million on April 16th.
I'll tell you what's interesting. Word out of Chicago is that Billy Donovan may be looking to step away from the Bulls. Would North Carolina call Billy Donovan?
Interesting.
Something to think about.
No doubt about it. That's it for us. Hack, have a fun show.
Thanks, Rick.
We'll see you tomorrow. We got plenty to do. That'll be Wednesday's program. We'll hear from John Osher. We'll hear from the Philly Godfather. Get ready for the NCAA tournament beginning again on Thursday. Thank you to Ryan O'Halloran and Aaron Williams. I'm Rick Ballou, 1-0 Florida, 6th inning. Hacker will keep you updated, and I will talk to you tomorrow at 6.